Hey, what's up guys? Jose here, ShreddedDad.com. In today's video, I'm reviewing the Preacher Pad by AbMat. Now this pad gives you the ability to add variety to your preacher curls from home. You can do preacher curls kneeling, seated, standing. You can do them with dumbbells, easy curl bars, or even with cables using the Preacher Pad. Now this good thing about this though is that it only takes up about a third of the space that a traditional preacher curl bench would take. And what I did is I compared this to the Titan Fitness Preacher Curl Station, which has a footprint of about 22 inches in width by 36 inches in length. And I set tape down on my floor there with those dimensions, 22 by 36. Then I set down the Preacher Pad, and you can see that the Preacher Pad only takes up about a third of that space. And that's not even including the height. So with a Preacher Pad, you can do your preacher curls from home without taking up all that floor space that we need in the home gyms. So let me talk to you more about the specs of the Preacher Pad. So if you look at it from the front like this, from side to side, there's 24 inches here in length. When we look at it from the side, the depth here, there's 8 inches, and then the height, there's 13 inches in height. So when you compare this to a traditional preacher pad, preacher curl bench pad, I compared it again to the Titan Fitness Preacher Curl Station. The Titan Fitness Station is 21.5 inches. So the Preacher Pad here is actually longer than that traditional Preacher Curl Pad. So you have a lot of room here. So for people that have broad shoulders, this should be plenty of room here to cover both of your arms at the same time. Now let me show you up close what it looks like. That's the logo there in the front, Preacher Pad. And this is black vinyl. The black vinyl is water resistant and antibacterial as well. So if you sweat on it, you can simply spray it, wipe it down, and then that water won't go into the foam on the inside. Now, speaking of the foam, AbMat uses high density foam, and it's some of the best foam in the fitness industry. I have several other products. I have the Medicine Ball, I have the Barbell Bomb, the AbMat, and the Box Squat Pad. And that foam is like no other pad I've seen on the market. So they have really good pad. As a matter of fact, I set this down, jumped on it, and then the foam just goes back to its original shape. Now this is what it looks like from the side. You have a zipper there on the side. If we go to the back, there's the zipper again, and then there's a start on the zipper on this side. So that's pretty much it for the specs. This weighs about 3 pounds, so you can simply store it somewhere when you're done working out, or just put it in a corner and it gets out of your way. So now I'm going to show you how to set this up. So you have two sides here. You have the narrow side, and then the front here is wider or broader. So you can set it up with the narrow side close to your body when you're seated, or you can flip it around and have the broader side close to your body when you're seated as well. This is good, I guess, for people that are taller, have longer torsos. This would probably be a better option. I actually prefer this option here because to me, this feels more stable. When I have a bigger portion of the pad hitting my body, it feels more stable to me. Whereas when I flip it around and I have the smaller part or the narrower part close to my body, it feels like I have to hunch over a little bit more, and it almost feels like it teeter-tots a little bit. Even with the weight on top supporting, holding this down, it feels like it still teeter-tots just a little bit. Not enough to disrupt the exercise, but it's almost like it feels like almost like you can rock back and cheat a little bit. So let me show you what I mean here. So here's the preacher curl with the narrow side close to my body. And again, it feels like it teeter-tots a little bit. When I turn around and put the broader side close to my body, I feel a lot more stable, more stability when doing the curls. Now the pad itself feels good. It feels comfortable on the elbows. It feels like it gives a little bit, but it still gives you a lot of support where your elbows aren't sinking into the pad. And then it also feels a little bit grippy where your pads aren't sliding side to side, or your arms aren't sliding side to side. Now if I flip it around and if I do it kneeling, I can set this up kneeling as well, where I'm like this, and I have my body here and I just pick up the weight from in front of me. I feel this position here where the narrow side close to my body is better because this teeter-totter motion actually brings the weight closer to my body. If I turn it around, if I do this way, I feel like that teeter-totter motion gives me a disadvantage because the weight is pulling me in that direction because of that teeter-totter motion. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to bring the weights closer here. So we're going to try this seated down with the narrow side away from my body. I'm going to go ahead and sit up here. So So you see, it's more difficult. I'm actually floating right now because of that teeter-totter motion. If I turn this around and I start with this side closer to my body, the narrow side close to my body, I can actually bring it towards me and then be able to do the preacher curls. So you kind of have to play around with what works better for you. In this position, for me, kneeling, if I'm doing it kneeling, narrow side close to my body works better. If I'm seated in this position, I feel the wider side close to my body feels better for me. Again, you can do this with dumbbells, the easy curl bar like I just did, or with cables. Now I know there's a lot of guys out there with power bellies that are thinking, is this something that I can use because of my belly? Can I sit it down on my lap and be able to do some preacher curls? So I'm gonna try to recreate that by using a 30-pound sandbag. I'm gonna stuff it under my shirt here. And again, I don't know how accurate this is gonna be as far as the power belly, but as you can see it's sticking out there. I'm gonna set the preacher pad right on top with the narrow side against my body. And as of right now, it feels like I can go ahead and lean forward. Now this is gonna be pushed forward, of course, because of the belly, but it feels like I can lean forward. I'll pick up the weight, and I'm still able to do some preacher curls. Without any issue. Now this is with the narrow side close to my body. I'm gonna try it with the other side. And again, it feels like you can still do them. So, I don't know how accurate that is, but even with something right in front of your gut there, you can still get your preacher curls in with the preacher pad. Hope that helps somebody. Here's what I like about the preacher pad. I like that it's a huge space saver. When you compare this to a traditional preacher curl bench, this only takes up about 1/3 of the space because it only weighs about 3 pounds. You can either put it away in a bookshelf when you're done, or you can set it in a corner and it's out of your way. I also like that it feels like an actual preacher curl bench, but it doesn't take up the space. So when you're doing the bicep curls or the preacher curls, you get a lot of isolation on the biceps, and it feels very good on the elbows. It doesn't hurt the elbows. It gives a little bit, but still gives you a lot of support when you have a lot of weight on your arms there. So it feels like an actual pad. Now, what I don't like about it is that in some positions, this angle here teeter-tots a little bit, so you lose some leverage, but you just have to play around with what works for you. For me, when I'm in the seated position with this on my lap, having the broad side close to my body works best. Whenever I'm kneeling down, this side works best for me. So you just have to play around, see what works for you, but you can still feel the isolation on the biceps. So let's talk about the price. The preacher pad sells for $130. When you compare that to the cheapest preacher curl bench, that's $140, which is Titan's. You're saving $10 here, but you're also saving a lot on space. Now, this is $130 because it's made in the US, it's made with quality materials, and AbMat makes some of the best foam in the fitness industry, so you're paying for a lot of quality here and the space you're going to be saving. And in reality, all you need for a preacher curl bench is the pad to give you that arm support, so you don't need all the other material that's going to take up a lot of room in your home gym. So is it worth $130? Well, that depends on how much you do preacher curls. Do you do them a lot? Do you do them a little? I don't know, but if you do preacher curls, this is a good option because you're going to save money, $10, but you're also going to be saving up on that beautiful space that you lack in the home gym. So if you're into preacher curls, if you're into arms, this is a good option. So that's my review on the preacher pad. At $130, I think it's a good option for somebody that likes to do a lot of arms. If you have arms in your programming and you're into preacher curls but lack the space in your home gym, then this is a good option. Again, this is only going to take about 1/3 of the space that a traditional preacher curl bench would take, and then when you're done, you can just shove it in a corner, put it up on a bookshelf, and it's out of the way. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link below this video. That link is shreddeddad.com/preacher pad. If you like the information in this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave me your comments and questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest uploads. For more home gym equipment reviews and discounts, make sure you visit my website, shreddeddad.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.